And it's a vicious cycle if you are not feeling happy, if you are not coming from a place of gratitude, of counting your blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 3 p.m. on January 27th, 2019, and I am currently about to inhale this mochaccino / cafe mocha, whatever the fuck it is, homemade. Shout the fuck out to Starbucks for inspiring me to drink more, because I had my first one this week and it was absolutely incredible. Starbucks makes it 1,000 times better than me. It's probably way worse for you though, but anyways, I love my fucking coffee and I love my homemade mochachinos. But this has nothing to do with what I'm going to be talking about today. Today's Reflections 29, and this is going to be the best episode to date. I can promise you that. And I could be wrong, but we'll see how that comment ages. I just feel like today's going to be a fucking kick-ass episode. I have way too much to talk about right now. And Reflections, by the way, is a weekly video and audio series where I get on camera and I talk about my week, what worked, what didn't, what's on my mind, lessons I'm learning, how I'm growing, challenges I'm going through, etc. All the works, basically just to document my week in my history on video and audio form. And it's also a great way to reset my week. So love that. Anyways, let's get right into it. What's been on my mind? Feeling a bit stagnant right now. I feel like I'm not doing enough, and I feel like not enough is changing, and it's not the best feeling. And I have key metrics that I need to key metrics that I need to hit, key goals that I need to progress on in order to remove this stagnant feeling. And that can creep in very fucking easy. So I've got to be cautious of that and always be pushing forward no matter what I feel like. It's just fucking crucial. This is the way. Ever After. I'm excited as hell for Ever After. I'm most pumped for Mastodon, Schism, B2B Trampa, Peekaboo, Code Pandorum. So those are my people I'm most excited for, but I'm also excited for people like Excision, obviously, Zomboy, Elenium, and that B4B. Holy shit, Rhythm Central. But yeah, I'm excited to do Ever After again this year. I fucking love those lineups. And look, it sounds like they fixed a lot of problems, which I love. And people will continue to shit on them until they see it, but I have faith that Ever After can pull it off this year and do things better and improve things. And it looks like, based on what they're saying, they have done that. People are very skeptical of that, but I am choosing to be, I'm choosing to believe them. So I'm looking forward to the festival as a whole, though. I'm very excited for it. What were my favorite wins? There's so much annoying sounds that are happening right now. But I'm going to be doing my best to just continue onwards and hopefully make this the best episode ever, like I've been aiming to. Okay, so wins though, let's cover that. Vision, did a good job. So I started my week out nice with getting more clear on my desires and taking some time to write that out. Long-term stuff as well as short-term stuff, but mostly long-term macro stuff and stuff I basically, that I love and desire for the net score, aka I'm talking like when I die, what do I want to feel, how do I want to go out, that type of shit. So that was really good. Also, what else did I do? Got my dream board up for lists, and that was the whole reason basically I built lists, or one of the main reasons that is. So that felt fucking phenomenal. I was so pleased to be able to finally look at my dream board and have the exact or a different order every single time. And I'm just so pleased by it. So thank God for that. I also started doing visualization because I've been really bad at that. So I wanted to start integrating the pattern on that. So that's been, or the habit of that. And that's been one of the things I've implemented at night on my power list, which is visualize before going to bed. So I started creating images and I try to tap into the feelings. I'm not the best at doing that right now because here's the thing. I just know that, the desire, these material things or what have you, I struggle to care about material stuff because I know that it's not going to give me any feeling long term, that I'm not the achievement will be a high in itself, but then after that, I'm like, okay, what's next? So I know that the feeling is not worth it's not going to be fulfilling is what I'm trying to fucking say. It's just super not. And yeah, so that's been some of my resistance around material stuff, but I don't know, I'm kind of just like, I'm not just too pumped about my dreams right now. It's just honest to God truth. I'm not tapping into the feelings properly, but I'll get there. I will definitely get there. And in order to manifest these things and create these things in my life, that is required. I have to get the feeling correct, because that's exactly how it works. Got to get the feeling, got to align with the feeling, and then the feeling creates it at an energetic level. Anyways, what else? Moxey Energetics. So, created a plan for finding clients that are ideal for us in the real estate category, if you will. And that's been interesting. It's more hard than I was expecting, but it's going to be using things like social media and stuff like that. And I'll talk more about this when I start implementing it properly, but plan for that's been created, some scripts. Also worked on the website starting the website for that, because we require that badly, but not enough progress in this area. I would like to do more next week. Content, lots of things edited, on my way to catching up, which feels great. Would have liked to do more recording, but I did get 2 episodes still recorded, which is nice, including this. Worked on a really cool component for not only joshmoxey.com, but like anything that I want to do a blog in, but with React type of code. So a custom website, if you will. I've been building this element generator thing that takes JSON in and spits out a blog, which I'm very interested to see how that goes. But it's been working so far. I'm just like tweaking things and making sure it works with custom components properly, but it's pretty fucking cool. I'm really liking how that's going. Also, I worked on so lists is a little bit slow with uploading images right now. So my fix for that is to use the local data of the local text and the local image and plug that into the Redux state, if you will. So it looks like it's uploaded, but it's just like loading, and it'll just like send to the background, if you will. And I don't know how to handle that if it fails type of thing, but that's at least how I've set it up, and I've coded most of the aspects to make that illusion, if you will, appear. So it's not just like hanging, waiting for the upload to finish. So I'm enjoying how that's going. And I also started on the batch stuff. So the adding multiple text and adding multiple images at once into one card, meaning not into one card, into multiple cards. So the ways to do that, and that's been cool. And yeah, I love lists, but I really can't work on this shit right now. I'm only just hacking here and there because it's not the priority in this moment. What worked? Creating lists here and there and revisiting the list. That's like such a key thing. It's very easy to by the way, it's even hard to create the list sometimes, but if you can create the list and revisit the list, there you go. There's your fucking benefit right there. And it's hard to do those 2 things. And I've been just enjoyed the impact it's having on it's influencing me in such a positive way when I'm revisiting things like intentions and my dream board and stuff like that, and keeping me aligned with what I need to remember, my intentions that I need to keep top of mind, and all that good stuff that you get from revisiting these types of things. What didn't work, and how can I improve it? Inconsistency with checking Trello. This Trello for me is like a tool of almost like accountability / keeping my brain in check, and just managing any and every task and project that I'm a part of. So if I don't check it, it's very easy to let things slide really quickly, and then I'm accidentally having a fucking catch-up session, and it's not good. So I'd rather just keep myself accountable and keep checking in properly, and I've just slacked so bad for this week, and honestly in recent weeks as well. I just haven't been doing a good job, and I would like to integrate this more into my life again, because it's so fucking crucial for keeping me on track. My diet. My diet has work to do right now. I think there is too much processed food. Okay, so that makes it sound awful. There's not a ton of processed food, but there is some processed food, and I would like to cut that. In addition to that, I would also like to reduce sugar a bit, so I don't need like syrup in my oatmeal necessarily, stuff like that. Or just like a less syrup if I'm gonna do protein pancakes or something like that, and improve things like more chicken and turkey and more rice and potatoes and vegetables for sure, because I've got to get better at that, and I've just really not done a good job at vegetables in the past, but good at fruits. It's a very weird thing. Anyways, I've got to figure out vegetables and ways to hack that in, but the diet requires improvement in the near future, that's for sure. Not working enough. Yeah, it didn't feel great this week. I had a lot that I could have done and probably should have done, and I defaulted into just many times just checking my phone and like spending too much time on my phone and procrastinating. It's just like, come on, Josh, you have more that you can give. You have more that you can do. You have more potential that you need to hit. It's just so fucking crucial. Like, I don't want to look back and regret that I wasted so much potential. Actually, it scares the shit out of me, that thought. So I've got to fix that. And related to that is like, I've got to work more on Moxey Energetics. It was very easy for me to want to work on other things because it's uncomfortable, but Moxey Energetics is the chief task, so I gotta fucking do it, period. As uncomfortable as it is, it's just gotta fucking happen, period. Road tripped forever after. Getting under 8 hours of sleep right now. I am so exhausted. I think it might be because of lack of sunlight. That is my biggest bet right now, but man, I need like 10 hours right now. It's crazy. This is so much sleep. But I've got to listen to my body. I can't just sit there and try to pretend like I need less if I need more. And I think it's very crucial to be able to just ignore those voices in your brain that are like, sleep less, work more, like that type of thing, and really just dial into what is actually true for you and your body in that moment. And right now for me, my truth is I require more sleep. I'm not like pumped about saying that I need 10 hours on camera, but I can just, based on auditing how much I want to go back to bed after getting up some days, and how like my mood is not at 100%, when I'm in these type of underslept states, that is why I've concluded that. So related to that, not going outside, I really have to go for a walk soon or something. Like, I'm looking at the sunlight right now in the window and I'm like, damn, that would be nice to feel right now, but I haven't felt it in so long. And yeah, it's not the best that I stay in all the time, but I would like to integrate more walks with this new 3-day split. Maybe a walk on Thursday and a walk on Sunday would be phenomenal. Like, hell, I might even do a walk after I finish recording this. Breathing so shallow. Yeah, my breathing is garbage right now. I have much work to do in that department, and I might even throw it on my power list this week because of it. I would love to go through Wim Hof's training and become a better breather, because I just spend so much time in shallow breathing, and it causes me anxiety if I'm breathing too shallow, and my mood isn't at 100%. But when I do breathe properly, I'm like, damn, this is like living meditation. I love this shit. So looking to improve that in the near future for sure. Trying to force content. Now, the one day I was I wrote a caption for lists and trying to just document how I was feeling in that moment about getting this thing actually live, and how I felt about making my first list kind of with Dreamboard. And yeah, but then I tried to like force myself to post the Dreamboard, and I just couldn't do it because I was so resistant to those type of topics being like sharing that vulnerable thing. And then I didn't want to make because I don't want the counter intention of people being like knowing all my dreams and shit. I'm like, this is fucking dumb. If I do this, I'm not thinking very clearly. And in addition to that, I didn't want to make up a fake topic or a fake list. I wanted to just find a proper list that is like real, but not so vulnerable that it's my entire fucking dream board. So I've figured out, I think, what it might be, and it might be my intentions for content and why I do what I do with content. And I think that could be valuable for people. So I'm going to experiment with that and see how that goes. And hopefully it brings people some value in addition to, so basically like showing what list is without showing my hopes and all my fucking dreams. So yeah, that's the fine balance there. And also documenting my thoughts around what it was like making my first list and why I love it, what I was feeling at the time, etc. And the actionable there, by the way, was to not force content. Let it come more natural. Let it flow. Let it come from a good place and not I have to check the box type of place. It's not a great place to create content from. Okay. All right, just vanished real quick. Got a new coffee. So let's do this. I guess I'm going just into a coffee coma today, which is fun for a bit. It might be bad in the end. We'll see how that goes. What were my biggest lessons? Let's talk about intuition real quick. So I don't know what you believe in terms of what you have inside of you, but I am fully of the belief that we have almost like GPSs within each and every one of us. And I would call that intuition. And so where I was going with this though is, where was I going with this? Yeah, so when I go against my intuition, I really just do suffer. This week, I was finding that I was suffering with the fact that I knew in my core I shouldn't have worked on lists. I should have focused on Moxey Energetics because that is the chief project right now, the chief tasks with inside of that as well. Like, I just knew that so at the end of Tuesday, on Tuesday I was working a lot on lists. So I got like a lot of progress done on the local card upload as well as the batching cards and getting started on that. And yeah, I knew I just felt a lot of regret at the end of the day. And that for me is a way of showing me that my intuition is trying to tell me that I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not heading in the right direction. I'm discarding what I should be putting at the top, which was Moxey energetic tasks. So I've just got to be cautious with that, and I'm very grateful for it. But it was just a reminder of how fucking important it is to really listen to the intuition and act on the data it gives back, because I was just so filled with regret and like, what the fuck am I doing type of thing at the end of the day. And like, even though I was working on important tasks within list, they were still not the things I should have been working on, and I felt it. So the lesson there, if you will, is when you're really paying attention, your intuition will absolutely keep you on check. It's there to guide you, and it's so worth developing, so worth. And I will continue to develop it until the day I die. It's something I care deeply about. Related to that last point, it's okay, and it's actually good to take some time here and there and focus on those side projects, those passion projects, the things that are really keeping me up at night on the side, if you will. And I've just got to be cautious to give them not too much time that they start eating into my most important and the leading projects, if you will. So it's actually very helpful for me to do that, because it keeps me energized. It gives me, like, it doesn't take away energy. It's giving me energy when I'm properly aligned and when I'm dialed in properly. So that is something crucial to keep in the back of my mind when I'm going forward, is here and there. So maybe like, let's say 30 minutes daily, and I don't need to do this, I don't have to. It's just like a nice to have. If I take like 30 to an hour type of thing, and I work on the chief priority for XYZ task. It also for an XYZ project, meaning so something like lists or joshmoxey.com or something like that. And it also forces me to focus on the chief objective for that, and the chief task, whatever's the most important thing, and get very crystal clear on my priorities, because I only have so much time. So I have to be working on the most important things, or else I'm just kicking myself in the foot, or shooting myself in the foot is probably what the phrase is. But yeah. I was watching the Fire Festival documentary on Netflix when I was, I think, just dead. I think I was dead that day. Anyways, I was watching it though, and I was just reminded of how important it is to do the right thing, to tell the truth, to be authentic, to not be an insecure little bitch, to do just the right thing. It can be easy, I think, for people to do the wrong thing and to lie and to cheat and all that shit. Does not work that way with me. I just cannot live with myself. I have too much of a conscience, and yeah, I think we have a lot to learn from that documentary. And it's about a fraudulent entrepreneur who was very insecure and loved fronting, and he was trying to create this music festival, and there was just so much. It's how the fuck can't you do good? I just don't. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around that. But anyways, that is an interesting doc if you want to check that out. And it's Fire with a Y, by the way. I was catching up with my buddy Zach, and by the way, such a fun time. I really enjoyed that. I've known that dude for such a long time now, but it's just always great seeing him catching up, talking life, business, fucking social, I guess you could call that. Just like anything. I love the dude. Anyways, he was giving me feedback on my content, and specifically, I think it was 2018 reflections that he was talking about. And I loved the one point he mentioned about, here's my interpretation of it, which was, I can sometimes say the same point over, and I'm watching myself do it in this, quite frankly. And I just do have a pattern of saying some things over and over again in almost like a loop / cycle. But I liked what he said, which was point, evidence, and conclusion / action. So like that 3-step process for delivering a point. So first you give the point, then you back it up with evidence. It doesn't necessarily need to be tangible, but it just can be like an example, some context. It can be emotional evidence, I think is what the words he used at one point. And then the conclusion, like how does this impact going forward? How can you apply it? That type of thing. And I thought that was a good framework and something I'll look to integrate in the future. And I appreciate you giving that to me, Zach. Appreciate it. Holy fuck, the caffeine is kicking in right now. Very enjoying this. The world is so success obsessed that they forget to be happy in the process. So I was reading a tweet by Justin Trudeau, who is our prime minister, and he said something along the lines of like, he was talking about how Canada was rated top in the world for quality of life. At least that was what I recall reading. And he said something along the lines of like, we pride ourselves in Canada of having an equal chance for success. And I'm like, wait, that had nothing to do with quality of life. What the fuck are you talking about? So I was just like, do people really think, like, is this entire world just so obsessed with its success? And by the way, I fucking love success. I think success is the fucking GOAT, okay? It is so good. And at the same time, I feel like people forget that no amount of success, no amount of fame, no amount of what have you is going to give you, in that type of realm, is going to give you the feeling that you're looking for unless you choose to feel it. Like, you might get some pleasure from achievement and stuff like that, but if you forget to be happy, you're going to just you're going to be running through life trying to constantly feel happy without, and thinking that you're going to feel happy when you hit XYZ, but you'll hit XYZ and you won't be fucking happy because you'll be constantly looking for that next thing. And it's a vicious cycle if you are not feeling happy, if you are not coming from a place of gratitude, of counting your blessings, of feeling whatever you want to feel. You don't need XYZ to feel a certain way. You can feel any way you want in this moment. It's like, it's your birthright, quite frankly. You don't need anything outside of you to feel anything. You can just feel that way right now. But so I feel like a lot of people who are in the chase forget that. And I am guilty of it myself. I can sometimes forget to be grateful for what I have, grateful for the process at times. Whole slew of things, man. But it's just so important to keep in the top of your mind that when you get to a certain place, like, the future is not going to make you happy. Whatever is in this moment is what the future is going to be unless you change what that present feeling is. That's crucial. You got to hit that pattern. You got to hit that deep causation level, if you will. And things will change then. But yeah, be cautious. It's a dangerous game to play if you're going to play it seeking for happiness in the future like that. I don't think this is anything new for me right now, but just a reminder that when we are uncomfortable, we're going to want to retreat into that which used to make us comfortable. And I'm feeling this a lot right now with Moxey Energetics, where I just want to go back to what I've done. I want to go back to coding. My brain is like, let's go code, like, fuck everything else. Which I have to ignore, because in order to grow, in order to evolve, in order to take these next steps, I cannot do what I've done in the past. I have to level up. I have to work on Moxey Energetics the way I've worked on coding in the past, and make sure that is the top priority, and make sure I'm putting in enough effort. And my brain is like freaking the fuck out because of it, because it wants to go back to comfort. But there's like this phrase of everything you want is just outside your comfort zone. I think that's very fucking true. And I don't really recommend throwing yourself completely out of your comfort zone. I don't recommend you throwing yourself like way out of the circle, but I recommend like pressing up against the edge and just going like, just making that a little bit bigger, that just expanding that circle over time. And that is a good way, I think, of expanding the comfort zone because if you go too far, you can sometimes like really jump back. But if you're like constantly pushing that barrier and making this balloon, if you will, expand, which is your comfort zone, that is a much better way of doing it, in my opinion. But yeah, just gotta embrace that fucking fear and just do it anyway. And within that is just a win within itself of pushing yourself past your edges. What challenges did I experience? I found I have this pattern of putting off challenges until later. So let me explain. Say I'm working on something, but a challenge is presented to me that has nothing to do with what I'm doing in that moment. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. It's just a thing right now. I will push off the new thing and focus on what I'm doing right now. It's a good way of focusing, but it does have its downside. So like I'm watching this pattern play out across life right now, which is I put off so much until later and I forget to like come back to that thing I've put off. So even something as simple as, you would think that I would go into a place and see a challenge and immediately try to solve it. My brain is now like, let's save the energy towards that next task, and let's not allocate that energy towards that just in case I'm tired for that later thing. And I just hate being tired for tasks. So that has been a major challenge, because I should be problem solving at all hours of the day. And I have like so many fucking challenges. Like I could list off a fucking billion challenges in my life that I would like to solve, but I always forget about them because they're not top of mind, because I'm not actively solving them, because I'm trying to save energy for a future task or what have you, and just trying to conserve mental energy, which is like a great and an awful thing at the same time. So I'm leaning towards this more awful right now. So this is something I absolutely have to fix in the future. And I would love to create a list of just like every challenge I have, and then archive that card as I solve it. But I just got to I have so much time in the day that I could be spent. So like working out, I could be looking at a list and just like looking at a certain thing and just solve that while I'm in between sets or something like that. Like I have fucking 3 minutes in between each set for reverse pyramid training sets. Like that is a lot of time. I mean, granted, I am doing weight stuff and my brain is a little bit off, but that's still mental energy I could be using in a more positive way. So that is something that's been irritating me a little bit recently, and I've got to fucking fix. I've had a ton of resistance moving from coding tasks to Moxey Energetics, like I've talked about. And my brain just wants to wake up and code, but I'm watching it fade as time goes on and I allocate my first tasks to now Moxey Energetics. There has been some resistance, but it's getting easier from conscious side of the fence and subconscious side of the fence. And yeah, it wants to be comfortable in that coding environment, and that is no longer what is required. So that is something that obviously has to change, and I'm changing it actively, and that feels good. But it is not easy, I'm not gonna lie, but we're getting there day by day. I do feel like life is passing me by right now. I do not feel like I am taking life by the horns, if you will. I don't feel like I'm maximizing my potential, and it's fucking eating at me right now, and I really, really dislike it. So there's it's just not a good feeling. So must change ASAP. Cannot continue like this. Have to, because I cannot bear the thought of looking back and realizing how much I wasted. Just can't do it. Where did I grow the most? Easily Moxey Energetics tasks, and like I was just talking about, moving from the coding tasks primarily to Moxey Energetics tasks primarily. I can still code, it just has to be less, and it has to be like a less of a priority as well. So less in time and less in priority, which means it usually will go at like a night thing or like a midday thing rather than the first thing in the morning, which I originally put because I have the most mental energy right then and I'm most pumped to solve those type of problems. But that is the place where Moxey Energetic tasks lie right now. So I have to keep that as first because it's top priority, period. I still have a ton to grow in Moxey Energetics, obviously. And yeah, it's gonna help grow me so much. And I'm very excited for this project. It's really fucking cool. What am I obsessed with right now? MFCEO. Loving MFCEO right now. And specifically revisiting key episodes like Win the Day, Harry, an American Success Story, the one about winners win, losers lose. And oh man, just like these episodes are so fucking good. It's incredible. So I'm super grateful for Andy and all the mentorship. And this is right now in this moment my favorite podcast of my mains, and I'm very appreciative of it because it's just it's just so valuable. It's insane. I can't express that enough. Reflections 29 in the books, and I hope that came out really well. I think it came out quite well, and we'll see how that ages after, because it's a completely different game after I'm editing it, so I can see it much more clearly. But when I'm in it, it's hard to 100% judge how it came out, but I felt pretty good with the output. Anyways, I hope I brought you some lessons. I hope I brought you some value through entertainment, motivation, education, inspiration, whatever the fuck your type of value you're looking for is. And again, I appreciate you watching and listening. You're as cringy as it sounds because Gary says this all the time, but your attention means a ton to me because it's your time, and I appreciate it so much. So thank you for listening and watching. And if you enjoyed this and you want to get more, subscribe or follow depending on what platform you're on. And yeah, if you could give me a like, a comment, a share, that would be incredible. If you thought it was worth it, key part there, if I earned it. And yeah, anyways, my name is Josh Moxey, and I hope you have an incredible week and be happy, embrace the journey. And I will catch you next week. Related to that...